For almost 90 years, Volkswagen has been the heartbeat of German industry. Not just a car company, but a symbol of jobs, stability, and national confidence, which is why what's happening right now is such a big deal, because for the first time in its 88-year history, Volkswagen is shutting down vehicle production inside Germany itself, not overseas, not temporarily, but at home. And that plant is Dresden, with production stopping in mid-December. Dresden was never the biggest factory, and that's exactly why this matters, because it was symbolic, a reminder that German plants were untouchable, that no matter what happened globally, manufacturing at home was protected, and that assumption is now gone. Once Volkswagen is willing to shut down production in Germany, the psychological barrier is broken, and from here on out, no plant is safe just because of tradition. This move is happening at a rough time for Germany overall, with political confidence falling apart, public approval for Chancellor Friedrich Merz sitting around 23%, energy costs still elevated after cutting off Russian supply, and an economy that's clearly losing momentum. Cheap and reliable energy used to be the backbone of German manufacturing, and once that disappeared, margins collapsed and costs exploded. And that pressure didn't stay in politics, it rolled straight into factories and boardrooms. On top of that, Volkswagen's global profit engine is breaking down all at once. China used to be a cash machine, but demand is slowing, local EV makers are eating market share, and tensions with Europe are making things worse. Europe isn't helping either, with consumers stretched, big purchases delayed, and pricing power fading. In the United States, tariffs and intense EV competition are squeezing margins even more. When pressure hits China, Europe, and the United States at the same time, there's nowhere to hide, and that's when cash flow becomes the real problem. Volkswagen is still selling cars, but volume doesn't save you when costs are rising and profits are shrinking. You can see the shift clearly in investment plans. Volkswagen now plans to spend about 160 billion euros over the next 5 years, down sharply from earlier plans closer to 200 billion. And that's not a small trim, that's a reset. EVs were supposed to get cheap, fast, but they didn't, especially compared to Chinese models. And the transition away from gasoline engines is moving way slower than regulators expected. So now Volkswagen is stuck funding two worlds at once, still investing in gas engines to meet emissions rules while pouring money into EVs, batteries, software, and automation that aren't paying off yet. Two powertrains, two tech stacks, one balance sheet, and that overlap is brutal. For years, automakers thought this phase would be short, but it's dragging on, and the longer it lasts, the more cash it burns. That's why cost cutting is no longer optional. Volkswagen's CFO has already warned that pressure on cash flow isn't temporary, and when leadership starts talking like that, it means hard choices are here to stay. Dresden fits right into that picture. Shutting down a German plant used to be unthinkable. Now it's treated as a rational business decision, and it's not isolated. The company already agreed to cut 35,000 jobs in Germany by the end of the decade. EV plants have seen production pauses, hours cut, and lines shut down for days at a time. Volkswagen says it's about matching supply to demand, but the pattern is